Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens here once again with the Unsung Leader Daily Leadership Nugget. Um, Continuing on with the series, where I talked about yesterday how to protect your energy. It's one of those little known secrets. High functioning leaders always make sure they protect. And one of the things I talked about yesterday was making sure as you have these numerous interactions over the day, whether it's 3 interactions, whether it's 10 interactions, whether it's 15 interactions, doesn't really make a difference, right? Being able to protect your energy so much so that as those interactions happen, people that you lead come in and bring you their problems, they bring you their issues, they bring you, all the things they got going on, that you don't assume their emotional state and therefore drive your energy levels to the ground, right? Well, the second part of that, right, deals with your responsibility as a leader to make leaders, right? So while you don't want to assume that emotional state as you're helping that individual with their issues, you also want to facilitate an environment where leaders can be grown, they can be cultivated, right? So when individuals do come to you with their issues, with their problems, with their concerns, with their, to coin, my good friend Jason Pittman's term, with their hair on fire, so that you don't enable, that behavior, so that you don't, inadvertently say by your actions that, hey, it's okay for you to come to me, with your hair on fire, all crazy and angry and frustrated. And guess what? Me as a leader are going to swoop in to take care of your issues for you. Nah, Jack. That's not how you facilitate an environment where people can grow to be leaders, right? One of the things that I always do, ask questions, right? So when an individual comes to me, says, hey, CMC, I got an issue or a problem. Like, you want me to fix this for you? Is that what you're saying? And for most people, especially as chiefs, for most people, when I do say that, they're like, well, I don't need you to fix my problem for me. I can do it myself. It's kind of that little challenge, that little dig, right? But also what it's saying is that, hey, calm down, slow down, take a breath, and you have more than enough resources to be able to figure this out. You just need to take time to be a little bit more thoughtful in your approach. Let's get past this emotional outburst. Let's get past the anger. Let's get past the frustration. Let's remove the emotion. Let's slow down, right? Because I guarantee if you take the time to just step back, think about it for a little while, you'll recognize that you have more than enough resources to be able to fix this problem. But the onus is on the leader to make sure you are not creating an environment where everybody can come to you and have their problems fixed, because that's not what you're there for. You're there to facilitate an environment where people can become leaders. And there's obviously going to be things that you're going to help people through the process, right? But you want people to start at being thoughtful, right? And that starts with removing the emotion out of the way. You want your leaders to be thoughtful, to have a wide perspective, because one of the things you got to recognize about being emotional is that your perspective gets supremely myopic when you are emotional, when you're frustrated, when you're upset. The only thing that's thinking for you is that emotion in that time, in that space, right? So your perspective is like this. All you see is red, right? Step back, take a breath, calm down a little bit, be thoughtful, allow the logical processing in your brain to catch up so that you can widen your perspective about the situation, right? But remember, as the leader, do not enable that behavior, because if you're the one that's fixing all the problems, if you're the one that's answering all the questions, what happens when you leave? You create an environment of people that have become, solely dependent on you, and nobody else, can figure anything out once you leave, right? That's not an environment that you want to create. That's not a situation that you want to be a part of. All right, you want to challenge your people. You want to challenge you want to bring those leaders up. And of course, your first offering, their first offering to you about how to correct that issue, it's not going to be right. But that's where you come in and you provide that perspective. You provide that leadership. You provide that mentorship, to help them, figure out the rest, the remaining 10 to 40% that they missed. Right? But getting people in the habit of figuring things out for themselves by you questioning them, by you slowing them down, disabling that emotional response, and getting them to be thoughtful, creates an environment. Now you got a whole group of people that are being thoughtful. You got a whole group of people that are being, that are legitimately being leaders, because they're removing the emotion out of the equation. They're being thoughtful, and they're providing the right perspective towards that problem, right? Plus, you're allowing yourself to conserve your energy because you're not running around fixing everybody's problems, going through every single nook and cranny, repeating things if you've already said over and over and over and over again, right? But create that disabling question for yourself. For me, it was, oh, so you want me to fix this for you? That's mine. But create one for yourself when your people bring those problems, right? To stop them in their tracks a little bit. Disable that emotional outburst, get them into a situation that can be more thoughtful, and they can figure things out for themselves. And you can help in that process where it's not you're dragging them along, it's now collaborative where you're figuring things out together, to give them the last few feet towards the finish line, so to speak. So hope this helps. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to go into the science of conserving your energy. Some of the things that you can do, to make sure that you last past lunch. And because how many of us know that the casualty doesn't care what time it is, right? The emergency doesn't care what time it is, right? If it's 4 o'clock, 1600 for us military types, and things hit the fan, you got to be ready to go at all times, always ready. So you want to protect that energy. And I'm gonna go into a little bit more the science of how that works and some of the tips and tricks you can do, to extend your energy levels, well past the afternoon crunch, afternoon downturn after lunch. So, hope you like what you're hearing, like what you're seeing. Comment, subscribe. I appreciate the comments so far. Love the feedback. But we're going to keep this thing going every day. Peace.